If you were the driver of a car in a demolition derby, I feel like you would do quite well.
Jerk. Alright, back again. Steve has some cards we're gonna look through, just pick some random questions and start answering.
Yeah, they're so random. Mary picked them out earlier.
Hey, you know what? I just picked out a bunch that look good, and then he's gonna pick which ones we do. Or we can, well, because we tried getting the whole box, and that did not turn out well.
Let's do the box.
Really?
Let's do the box.
Okay.
Grab the box.
We'll just shuffle through.
Yeah. All right, these are random.
Yep.
These ones we'll throw in here. And then Mary will do ones. What?
Look at that.
Hey, we'll set these aside.
No, because those I want as possibilities.
Alrighty.
Okay.
When did you realize you were in love?
I feel like we've asked this to each other before, and you're like, I don't know. It
I'm
was
not
so
saying,
gradual.
Yeah, I mean, we became friends a long ass time ago, and yeah, we gradually went over it. It wasn't until like you came open with it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because obviously I was more hesitant to be in a relationship. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, at that point, like, I already knew you had feelings, but I just hadn't said anything. I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
when you declared that we were going to start hugging more, yes, I knew.
So yeah, I think it was you make that seem weird.
No, it's not. It was sweet because when it's not someone you're in a relationship with, you need your bubble space.
Oh yeah.
So it was like those kind of physical signals to where, and like there had been a couple times I had hugged you before and you were like not comfortable with it. So when you were like, yeah, hey, we're gonna start hugging more, like when you would walk me to my car, or like you'd show me a video, but you'd be like right here, you know, showing it to me and like actually touching me. I'm like, wait a minute, he's taking away the bubble space. Like that's saying something.
Yeah. So I guess short answer to that question would be it was gradual.
Yeah.
What's the best gift that you've received from your partner? All her love and affection.
Oh, how original.
Food.
Really?
Food, yes.
Really?
Like 100%. I'm an eater. I'm a foodie.
Aww.
So, best gift. Well, no, that's not necessarily true. There's a bunch actually. So I
I'll
would
say there's
say,
one that stood out.
like the flash drive, and you're like,
Oh, really?
what was the other one?
I was thinking the book that I gave you at Christmas. I made you this whole book of like all my favorite things about you and like the things I admired most about you and stuff like that. And you told me it actually made you tear up a little bit. So.
Well, you can't include that in the video.
Yes, I can.
No, that was good, and then like the little flash drive that you did, because you're like really good at doing like video editing and making those. So I would say that would be the best gift that I received.
Okay.
The
slideshow of like our anniversary?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, yeah.
So that, that would be mine. What's yours?
That teddy bear.
I was about to say it has to be the teddy bear, right?
Yeah, just because it was so insightful. I don't know if that's even a word. Thoughtful, something. But yeah, when I was a kid, one of my brain surgeries, the doctor came in and took this teddy bear that Ronald McDonald House had given me, and because at the time I had my whole head wrapped. I had a PICC line in, I had, all this other IVs and stuff like that. And so this doctor dressed up the teddy bear to look just like me. And then Steve saw a picture of it, I think. Like you literally only, or no.
Maybe I saw it at your house.
Or yeah, maybe it was the actual teddy bear. Because I showed it to Mom and I was like, hey, do you want to keep this for like a keepsake in my baby box or something? So you saw it for probably not even 30 seconds because I showed it to her and then walked out of the room. And he was across the room. He didn't even, wasn't even part of the conversation. But off of that, he had said once we started dating, he was like, I don't do anything for holidays. I don't do Valentine's Day, all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Liar. Liar. Got off work, told me he got stuck at work for like 45 minutes and then comes driving up with this massive teddy bear, like one of the ones they sell everywhere on Valentine's Day, but you had dressed it up to look just like that little bear. And it was on point. Like you didn't miss a single thing. He even got like the port on the right side and the little head wrap on there. Like everything was super accurate. So
Yeah.
I still have it in my room. I keep it as my little doorstop. He stands there and keeps my door open.
That's funny. All right, your card. What were the reasons we fell in love? And with the we're sticking with this question.
Reluctantly, it sounds like.
No.
You go, liar.
You go first. Ladies first. I'll pick the card. You speak.
Speak, woman.
Speak.
Oh gosh, why did I fall in love with you? You're just so soft.
Wait, did it say 3 reasons? What were
what were
I'm
the
soft?
reasons? You are.
So you date any fat guy?
No. You're terrible. No, you, I mentioned this in the last video. You talk a ton of bullshit. And the first time I ever met you, I thought you were a jackass and I didn't want to ever speak to you.
Well, you're half right.
Because
you
you were...
want to speak to me.
What?
I said you were half right, but you did want to speak to me.
Yeah, I did, and then I just didn't. But he was going on and on and on and rambling all this crap, and you do that, and it's not you at all. You do it to get a laugh or to just get a rise out of people. And yeah, I little did I know I had the story wrong. Like, I walked in at the wrong time. But, and you were basically telling a joke, and I thought that was like your actual opinion or something. But yeah, like you always were like that. I mean, you were super attractive.
I was?
You are.
That's better.
You are. You are super attractive. Yeah, like incredibly masculine. I looked at you and I was like, I bet you he's military. But so like all that tough stuff on the outside, but then you are like, yeah, you have a huge heart. You're kind. You'll do anything for anybody. Like, every time I say that, the first thing I think of is the little old lady you walked back from Safeway.
That's funny, too, because, like, they tried to get me in trouble for that
I
shit,
know.
too.
And I was so proud of you.
And,
yeah, no, this little lady, he worked at Safeway, and right down the road is a retirement community, which I actually used to sing and play piano and do all this stuff since I was, like, 12. And, but it's a good, probably, 15-minute walk?
yeah.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, and this...
For a healthy young person.
Yeah, and so this little old lady walked all the way to Safeway and then was going to walk back with all her groceries.
Yeah, she had like 3 or 4 bags of groceries. She was just going to scarecrow that shit and just shuffle back to the residence.
Right, so he walked her all the way back to make sure she was safe. And thank God, because you said she tripped and almost fell into the road.
No, it was coming off of the road.
Oh.
So you remember, so like the Safeway was here, you cross that like 4-lane road or whatever, and then there's the little, I don't know, the dirt
Little
stuff.
median.
Walking off of that into the parking lot of like the Home Depot there. Lowe's.
Okay.
That's where she fell.
Oh.
And it was like, yeah, you know, can you imagine if she fell and there was no one there with her? She falls and breaks her hip. She's out there for 45 minutes, and it's just like, and then you're gonna see it on the news, you know, like some old lady fall down and, you know, Safeway bags everywhere.
Yeah. But yeah, so that just like your willingness to do anything for anyone, even the people you can't stand, you'll go the extra mile, even if it's, you know, talking to the one person who's super quiet in the room. You'll always pinpoint them, which you did to me.
I like the quiet people, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're very protective. Yeah, like you're just protective and like a gentleman. You know, that was the first thing is you would always walk me in my car, even if it was like right outside the window. Yeah, off the top of my head, those are the things. Yeah, I just saw your huge heart. You're so sweet.
And I would say a similar, my response to that would be the similar thing with you. Is like the compassion and the drive that you have. So like compassion, obviously, in everything you do. That's why you decided to go be a nurse.
Okay, can I say this is going to be the one issue the rest of our lives is that I touch him and I do all this stuff and he's like, your hands are 1,000 degrees.
They are. It's August. It's awful.
Oh no.
Yeah, my response for you would be pretty much the exact same thing. You know, your compassion. You say like softness when it comes to me. I would say your compassion. That's why you got into the medical field, and you do. You say I go the extra mile, but you go 10 extra miles for like everyone that you know. But yes, so the reason that I fell in love with you was your compassion. And now you draw a card.
Okay. Let's see. What have you learned about yourself from previous relationships?
I don't know. There's a lot to learn from previous relationships. Let's see. There's depending on which relationship. I know with one relationship, it's like, all right, don't take yourself too seriously. You know, that's why I'm more of a jokester now. Don't rush into marriage. With the other one, it's like, you know, find out who someone is first before you know, if don't get pressured into anything. If some gal or some guy is gonna try and pressure you into dating them, don't date that person, because they're gonna try and pressure you into something else, and they're gonna pressure you into something else down the road. So yeah, let's see. The relationship back in Oklahoma would teach me, I guess, focus, or I would say don't split your focus on two different things. You know, because if you split your focus on two different things, specifically one of those, and like if you're looking at losing two things, you need to really focus on getting one of them back. You don't split your focus, and don't have unrealistic expectations for that. You know. Also, don't try to rush into marriage. I don't know if 3 years is rushing, but
no, but I mean, it also depends on how well you know the person and like how much time you spend together.
Yeah, like know your person more than just superficially. You know, I mean, and her and I, we spent the better portion of 3 years, you know, together for a lot of it. But
best friends, like every day together, either talking or in person.
But you for sure need to freaking have the tough conversations. You know, don't just hang out with someone because it's easy. Don't just date someone because it's easy. Have those tough conversations before you get married. Have those tough conversations. Have your little fights, your disagreements, your arguments, whatever you want to call them, so that you know who they are. You know how they're going to react whenever put under like certain stresses or faced with certain oppositions. That's what I learned from that relationship. The relationship back in Washington is be patient, because whenever this person's going out and ruining their life in a spectacular manner and in a rather hilarious manner, then you can sit back and laugh and really enjoy that you ain't there.
Oh my gosh.
So, what?
That's terrible.
It is though. What did you learn from your past relationships?
Do not get walked on, which is kind of a broad.
Okay, yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
You only have two to pick from.
Yeah, and
the first one barely counts.
Yeah, it was only 6 weeks, so that doesn't even count.
I have socks. All of my socks are older than 6 weeks. Half my socks are older than our relationship.
Hey, at least I caught it early though. The second one I ended up wasting my life with, so not my life, but you know, I wasted a good chunk of time on because I was trying so hard to be compassionate and understanding. And
but again, you didn't waste that. It took 2.5 years to learn what you learned from that relationship, which was don't get walked on.
Yeah, don't get walked on. Don't let them try to change you. And granted, you know, people do need to change, and that happens in a relationship, and that's the whole point. Is like, when you're with the right person, you help each other grow and evolve and maybe work on faults or different things, and you make each other better, but not in a I'm your parent kind of way, or guilt tripping you, or you know, that kind of like demeaning sort of thing, which is what happened to me with that one. It was always this, well, don't you think that's this, or don't you think this, or like good people do this, or like these kind of people do that, and just always making you feel like you're that big. So don't let that go on, you know, like recognize that right away and be like, all right, this is a problem. Yeah, I don't know, I guess maybe, stand up for yourself a little more. Just be honest with things. Yes.
Alright, is it our similarities or differences that attract us to each other? And then I'm going to add on top of that, do you think that we're more similar or more dissimilar?
I think it's our similarities that attract us to each other, but our differences that make us compatible.
That's a really good way of putting that, actually, yeah.
Yeah, because the reason we have such a great relationship is that we're best friends. And we were best friends before we ever started dating. And we like, you know, the mundane parts of life, and not everything has to be go here, do this, travel, go on dates. You know, like we said in the last video, we like to just sit on the floor and eat pizza and watch Jeopardy. And so, you know, every day, if it's even just studying together, or like you could be playing video games and I could be reading a book or baking or something, and like we don't have to be entertaining each other all the time. Like we enjoy similar things, we enjoy each other's company. But yeah, it's our differences. Like, you know, I'm more like that super soft, laid back, you know, Miss Cheery kind of person, versus you're like aggressive, you're a protector, you're super masculine, and we balance each other out with that kind of thing.
And I would agree. Like, it's our similarities are the only reason that we ever like ran into each other. You know,
Right.
both taking science classes. So, yeah.
And then we both like food.
Yeah.
You hungry? Yeah, I'm hungry. 11 o'clock at night. Let's go get Taco Bell.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with liking food.
No.
I'll do the last one. No one's yours.
Okay. Oh gosh, which of us is the worst backseat driver? That's a no-brainer.
First of all, I'm great at every kind of driving that I do.
Oh yes, and I suck at all kinds of driving.
No.
That's a lie.
No.
You shouldn't lie.
If you were the driver of a car in a demolition derby, I feel like you would do quite well.
Jerk. I'm just not a timid driver, and I don't put my signal on at midnight going into my driveway.
You need to put your signal on all the... Okay, well anyways. I follow the rules of the road.
Even when he's in a ghost town.
The only time I don't follow the rules of the road is when I don't need to. Like when I was in the ambulance. No, that's different. When I was in the ambulance, you know, because then you can speed, you can go oncoming traffic, whatever. There's no point in turning on the lights or the blinkers because you have so many lights, who's going to notice the one blinking? You know? Who's the worst backseat driver? I think I am a great backseat driver. So that would have to be you. You're the worst.
No, you sigh and shift and groan, and then you have comments about how bad my driving is. I never say a word.
So you scare me with your driving.
It's not scary.
So
I'm just not timid.
Yeah. Well, she not timided herself into the car in front of her. So.
Hey, I fell asleep, okay? In stop and go traffic because I was up at 4 a.m.
Yeah. All right, my turn. Which habits or traits would you like to give up to prevent passing them on to your child?
Ooh, you go first.
Procrastination.
Really?
And yes, so I would say procrastination and a thorough enjoyment for video games.
Really?
Yes, because if I put half as much time towards like studying, I mean, I don't study at all, hardly. And I do quite well on the tests, I would say. I would say I'm quite intelligent, but if I put that time towards studying, hey, I'd have my PhD by now.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, if I didn't, so I'd say, what was the first one I said, procrastination?
Now does that include the way you can procrastinate literally down to the hour, but then we'll still pop it out right on time and with perfect quality? So does that include that, or just the procrastination in general?
No, I would say just the tendency to procrastinate. Because if an assignment became available and because like you said, I can get it done in that hour. 3-page paper, 1 hour, no problem. Here's some references.
Yep, and it's perfect. It's not like it's bad quality.
But if I could do that like the first hour, like Jaden, my roommate, you know, that dude knocks out. Anytime something comes available, he's got it done within the first hour. He's got a Facebook post saying, hey, the test isn't that bad.
That's crazy.
But so yeah, I would like to not pass on the tendency to procrastinate. I would like to not pass on my thorough appreciation for video games. And then I think that's the two big ones.
Yeah. Okay. Gosh, what would I do? I would say probably my I don't want to say fear of, but my extreme dislike of conflict. Like, yeah, it just any sort of confrontation, disagreement, awkwardness, I still will immediately feel like I'm a little kid in the corner. Like, it shuts me down immediately. And like, I'll be shaking and I'm nauseous and like all these different, like, I cannot do conflict. Even when I perceive that other people are upset with each other, it like stresses me out. And usually it's not over anything big that like most other people would be like, no, this isn't even a thing. So I would much rather have them be like you and like enjoy the banter, enjoy the discussions, you know, be able to be super direct.
Yeah, and I'm not confrontational. I wouldn't say I'm confrontational, but
No.
I don't back down from confrontation. You know, I don't intentionally go out there to like cause a fight, but if a fight's going to come my way, I'm going to fight that fight.
Right, and even with like a discussion, if it's a quote argument, you don't see it like that. It's just it's just a conversation, you know. Versus me, I'm like, oh, that was an argument. That was this, that. Like it's
weird.
Bigger for me, and that's happened with us. You know, there's been plenty of times where I talk to you about something, and even if I was like crying at the time or stressed out or whatever, and you're like, well, why didn't you tell me earlier? Like if you would just tell me, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's not a big deal. But I work it up so much because I hate confrontation that it ends up being a huge stressor. So I really would like them not to have that. Well, what skills did you learn when you were young that had the greatest impact on your future?
You answer that one first. So I'm going to let you organize things real fast. All right.
Okay. I would say ability to manage money and just like responsibilities and stuff like that. Because since mom and dad went and spent so much time in New York, we all learned how to, and just, I guess mom, the way she raised us, like how to run a home, learned how to do laundry, you know, we all knew how to cook, how to take care of the other siblings, you know, house clean, just all that stuff, just like manage life. And then, really young, because we struggled with money, and because mom and dad just wanted us to be responsible, we all learned how to save up and just like be frugal and like buy this brand versus this brand, or make this stuff at home, or you know, the knowledge of what do you need versus what would you like, and even with like not wasting gas, like if you're gonna go run these errands, go do them on the same day, or do them like in this order so that you're not being wasteful. So just all those little tips and things for being frugal and just smart with your resources.
Alrighty, so then the skills that I would say that I learned when I was young that had a good impact on me would be independence.
Yeah.
And I guess there's a number you can put here. You can say like independence. You can say that I don't know the like right word for it. It's not standoffishness. It's not aggressiveness, but like the inability to back down.
Yeah.
So whenever I was in high school, you know, my mother was away. She was working 12-hour days. So she was like never there during the day. She'd sleep, blah blah blah. Like we were asleep by the time she got home. We went to school before she woke up. So we didn't really see her that often. And then she ended up like going to California for training for the Army. You know, like which took a fair amount of time. So like whenever in high school, it was basically just like me and my little brother. Yeah. So I would say like there was a good degree of independence that I learned from that, you know, and being like that. I don't know if I would call it a caretaker, but being like the one who, you know, gets the food, makes the food, which a lot of the time was Subway.
A provider.
Yeah. So that would be a skill that I learned when I was young.
Okay.
What advice would we give a younger couple? Talk.
Yes.
That's the big one. That's the number one piece of advice I would give anyone else is talk. You know, if you feel slighted, if you feel like there's a little bit a younger me, I would say like talk. Be like you say, vulnerable.
Yeah. Did you just say vulnerable?
Yeah, because you say vulnerable.
I do not. I say vulnerable.
You say vulnerable.
I do not.
I will show you later. You say vulnerable.
I do not. You're the one with the southern thing in your mouth that makes you talk weird.
No. Number one, obviously talk. Number two, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Guys go into this relationship, especially like younger males go into relationships thinking that they have to be like that bulldog and just be standoffish and hyper masculine in everything they do. And I'm not saying don't be hyper masculine. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with masculinity. Contrary to the world of 2021, I think that someone in the relationship, primarily the male, has to be the masculine one. Generally speaking, if the male is failing in their duties, then sure, like the woman will be the masculine one. But I think that runs counter to the. Anyways, skipping all that out, and we'll get that's a 40-minute conversation. I end this up on a Tumblr blog. But no, like guys, you know, be willing to be vulnerable and like talk with the woman and be like blah 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 blah.
Oh my god.
But with different words. But yeah, be willing to talk and be willing to be like open with, you know, if something got you a little bit fucked up inside, then just be like, hey, I didn't appreciate this or that, blah blah blah. Don't go to bed harboring resentment towards your significant other, you know. By the end of the day, if you have any kind of beef, you need to clear that up, especially if you guys are going to end up sleeping in the same bed.
Yeah, going off of that, like, yeah, and like talk, be open, and we covered this in another video about arguments and conflict, is don't be demeaning, don't turn it into a fight, you know, don't just kind of get in the other person's face with your temper. Like, if you need to, wait until you're calmed down and present it, be like, hey, this is just how I'm feeling, or hey, you know, I am mad, or I am, you know, sad or whatever, but like, you know, say it calmly so you guys can actually discuss it.
Yeah, and deal with your conflicts, but don't deal with them whenever you're so heated.
No, yeah, not at all, because then you're going to say things you don't mean, and everything's going to get misinterpreted. And...
So just be willing to say, like, hey, I need 5 minutes away from you, and then we can be best friends again.
Yeah. Nice reference.
Yeah.
And we also talk about this too. Laugh. Oh my gosh, have fun. Be friends. Make sure you're close to that person you're with. They're not just meeting a checklist of what you would like to see in somebody, but actually be close. He's building a card house.
Don't breathe on it. Don't shake the table.
Okay. But yeah, because there is a whole host of things you can get through by having a sense of humor and laughing together. Stresses, anger, fights, like a lot of things will get totally blown away, and you'll realize they're not even a problem and that you're taking yourself too seriously when you can actually laugh together. The other thing is put yourself out there for the other person and be a team. You know, and granted, there's like, we're pretty traditional people and kind of carry more of those gender roles, those traditional gender roles, where I enjoy, you know, providing by cooking and, you know, homey things like that, or being affectionate. You do, you cook, and
like a madman.
You do. And you very much take pride in being a provider.
Yeah.
You know, but obviously there's times in life where things are going to be different, where maybe sometimes more of the providing may fall on the female, or like you said, you cook, you always help me with the dishes. That was one of the first things I loved about you. Going back to that topic earlier in the video, you were playing video games and I got up and his mom had a whole bunch of dishes in the sink, and I was like, all right, she's going to be getting home from work after a 12-hour shift. She's going to be really tired. I'm kind of bored of watching a video game. And so I got up and started doing dishes. Like, that is my comfort zone. If I'm ever super uncomfortable in a situation, I'll find the kitchen. You only let me in there for about 5 seconds of running the water, and he kind of raised his voice at me. He goes, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm doing the dishes. He goes, no, you're not while I'm playing video games. And he clicked it off and came in and helped me do the dishes. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this guy. But yeah, so just be open, be there for whatever your person needs without expecting things in return, or saying, you know, I always do this, you never do this, or I do this so much, but why do you never do this? Or, you know, just work together. Just be selfless. You know, and you guys, you're going to get so far by doing that, because you're not going to be harboring resentments or keeping a scorecard, and that should come naturally too. If you don't find that coming naturally with somebody, then you're probably not with the right person, because you're going to want to do that out of love.
Why do you look so small?
I know, because you're so freaking muscular
I'm
and
not
big.
even
Plus, you were
muscular.
yawning. Am I boring you?
No. Oh.
Oh. You are. I'm tiny. I'm your tiny little lady. Holy crap, you do look huge. Look at that.
I know, it's weird. Like, you look like you're 4'2".
Hi.
No. You look tiny. Anyway,
Okay, I like
that's
that.
a good word to end it. That's a good place to end it.
Okay, good.
He's a phone call to his parents. He's a Bible by the bed. He's the t-shirt that I'm wearing. He's a song stuck in my head. He's solid and he's steady like the Allegheny runs. He knows just where he's going and he's proud of where he's from. One of the good ones. He's one of the good ones. Love me like he should, one like he wrote the book, one the kind you find when you don't even look, one anybody can be good once, but he's good all the time. He's one of the good ones, and he's on mine. He's one of the good ones. You'll know him when you see him by the way he looks at me. You'd say he hung the moon, I'd say he hung the galaxy. Nobody does it better, oh, the way he pulls me in. I've known a couple bad ones, but they all led me to him. He's one of the good ones. Love me like he should, one like he wrote the book, one the kind you find when you don't even look, one anybody can be good once, but he's good all the time. He's one of the good ones, and he's on mine. He's one of the good ones. We should all find us one. They're out there, minus one. Some of the good ones. Yeah, I got a good one. Love me like he should, one like he wrote the book, one the kind you find when you don't even look. Anybody can be good.